WC27 Digital Now Center. This is Beyond the Forecast with your most accurate local meteorologists.
Hi, everybody. It is great to be with all of you here on a Monday. I am back from a little vacation last week, and guess what? The weather has not changed much at all. In fact, we are talking about more sunny, dry, parched weather across central Pennsylvania. If you are looking for rain, you've got to go to the tropics for that, as we are tracking both Imelda and Humberto, and we will get into those storms coming up here in just a bit. Let's start, though, this morning in Lancaster. Thanks so much for joining us here for Beyond the Forecast. And there are some clouds overhead, and believe it or not, these clouds are from Imelda, now a tropical storm sitting off the Florida coast and producing some rainfall along the Carolinas. But traffic not too bad this morning in downtown Lancaster as we look at the sun trying to bleed through some cloud cover. Temperatures are starting in the 50s for Manheim Central High School and West Perry Middle School in Elliotsburg, both spots on either end of the viewing area at 57 degrees. And then mid-60s for East Earl and Fawn Grove. It remains fairly balmy for this time of year across most of the region, but you can almost see, again, the circular motion to these clouds and the fact that these clouds are, sort of coming up from the deep south, and they are attached to Imelda, and we'll show you the wider view coming up. And these clouds will eventually increase as Imelda sort of flirts with the U.S. coast and then decrease tomorrow as the storm gets pulled away by Humberto. These are sort of twin tropical cyclones sitting out in the Atlantic. But it's a mild start, 64 in Harrisburg, 61 in Lancaster, down to 57 in York. That's the exception. But Philly was at 70, now it's 69 this morning, and maybe dipping a bit. But most spots are a little bit warmer than yesterday, but we do have some spots that are a little cooler. Either way, it's very similar. And with that, temperatures reached the mid-80s yesterday. We certainly believe we will be back in the 80s today. Dew points dipping into the upper 50s to near 60, but notice the dew points just to the south. I think at times today, again, dew points are going to be in the low to mid-60s. I think it's going to be a little tropical, a little muggy at times before we really lower the dew points and it becomes more fall-like rather than summer-like here by Wednesday. So yesterday's high, 85 degrees. That is pretty impressive. And something to keep an eye on, our yearly deficit now sits at 1.5 inches. These last couple of weeks have not helped. We had some rain, but it was not enough, and so we still have a deficit. It is almost overcast in Manheim this morning as we watch these clouds sort of thicken up and drop in from the high levels to the mid-levels today. There will be times where it is overcast. 82 is the projected high and could get a little bit warmer. Remember, we've got warm air in place up and down the eastern half, really, of the United States because of this high. And this high-pressure ridge is going to sort of help suppress Imelda and keep most of the rain south of our region. You can see it is impacting the Carolina coast, but these outer cloud bands are extending far enough north that they are having some impact here locally and defying the high-pressure ridge a bit. But the high-pressure ridge is going to win out here, and we are going to stay dry and mild to start the week. But clouds will thicken up. At times it will be overcast today and tonight, for that matter, keeping temperatures mild. No rain expected. We'll be too far north for it. And then tomorrow during the day, we start cloudy, and these clouds are going to dissipate as the storm pulls away from the coast, leading to a very pleasant Wednesday. Cooler, breezy, and pretty pleasant here by the end of the week with more sunshine expected. So temperatures the next couple of days, very summer-like. Highs back into the low 80s today. We're going to stay in the 60s tonight. Again, probably a good night to run the air conditioning. You'll notice here on Precision Cast that it stays mild. And then tomorrow, low to mid-80s again. As that sun starts to bleed through the clouds and eventually take over, it's going to be toasty. Now, the breeze is not going to be a big factor, right? When it's dry and quiet like this, we're kind of fishing for things to talk about. But I do expect a little bit of a northeasterly breeze tomorrow and again on Wednesday as the storm pulls away. Just a slight one that will be much more refreshing and bring us another cool down. So let's talk about these twin storms. We actually do have a tropical storms and systems to talk about. When I left last week, it was quiet in the Atlantic, and now we have two. Hurricane Humberto, Category 4, winds at 130 miles an hour, clearly the dominant twin in this relationship, and Tropical Storm Imelda winds at 45 miles an hour with a pressure at 996. That storm is a little more disorganized, but notice how it really does want to jog its way along the coast. But don't worry, it's not. Both will turn slightly toward the U.S., and then both will eventually curve out into the Atlantic and potentially meet up on Saturday, believe it or not. So the steering pattern favors both storms to slightly jog toward the U.S. today and then pull away tomorrow, which is good news. Again, these storms can be menacing. They can cause flooding. We don't want anybody to see that across the U.S. So notice here's tomorrow night, both storms sitting just offshore, and then they pull away quickly on Wednesday. That leaves some sinking dry air behind these storms for us here across the U.S. East Coast, and that means dry weather, cooler weather, and just seasonable toward the end of the week. The problem we have is we don't see any rain developing for the next 7 to 10 days. Here's our drought monitor. Again, hate to keep harping on it, but we are dry. And notice our northwest counties, right in here, do have a moderate drought situation going on. So you've got to keep that in mind because we're going to go another 7 to 10 days without rain. We see on this map there are areas where severe and even extreme drought are occurring, and that is a problem. And that is going to continue to be a problem for us locally. 82 today, partly sunny. Tonight, dipping down into the 60s. It's going to be mild. You can either leave the windows open or you may want to run the AC the next couple of days because I think it's going to be a little muggy too. And then we cool off. Wednesday, breezy, cooler, sunny and cool on Thursday, only 68. But we do warm back up for the weekend as temperatures go near 80 again on Sunday. So when we look at the extended temperatures here, listen, I don't see much getting above 80 in the long range. We are getting into October now. The normal high is in the low 70s. And so, we might be slightly above average here at times in the next 7 to 10 days. It's not anything that catches my attention that is ridiculously above average, especially when we've got cooler days mixed in like we will at the end of this week. So that is a wrap on this edition of Beyond the Forecast. We'll keep an eye on those tropical systems for you and the temperature trend over the course of the next 7 to 10 days. But the rain trend continues to be none. And that means the region is going to be parched again heading into October. So I hope you all have a great Monday. Thanks for tuning in. For Beyond the Forecast, I am meteorologist Brett Thackara.